So, well, hello and welcome back to this tutorial on how to build a simple emailer for beginners in Python. In the last video, we talked about, basically sending your very first email, a very simple email with just text. But we actually want to expand on this, and so we want to actually save our changes. So we're going to go back to the GitHub desktop that we talked about before, and I'm going to say, okay, this is my first version. So I'm going to call it, first version. That's my description for this commit. And a commit is basically a snapshot in history to which, I can come back and see at this time what were the files and what was the code inside the files. And I'm going to say commit. And after a couple seconds, this will disappear because I have 0 changes, because my commit is now committed. And I want to click this button called push origin, and my code will show up on GitHub. And if your code is public, you have to remember not to commit your usernames or passwords, as I've removed them here, because you don't want to accidentally publish your passwords on the internet. Okay. And so now we're actually going to do something where we're going to create a new file, and we're going to talk about JSON. JSON is basically a data storage format. It's a way for us to say, hi, we have some, information here that we want to store. And so in order to talk about this, I'm going to introduce to you at the same time Python dictionaries. So Python dictionaries, they are denoted by brackets. And then a dictionary is kind of like, imagine like a real world dictionary. You have a word and then you have a definition. So in Python, we call these keys and values instead of words and definitions. And you can store anything you want as the value. And for keys, we usually use strings, because JSON actually is kind of like a Python dictionary, except it only allows strings as keys. And so I'm going to show you an example here. First, you start with open curly brace and close curly brace. And then I want to have a key. And so maybe I'm going to call my key username, and then colon, and then another quotes for the definition, basically, or the value of this key, which is username. And I'm going to put, my email address, which is, we can say, is example@example.com. And then comma for the next key and value, and then password. And then we'll just say this is, password. And this is, the password that you want to put. And on top of that, we actually want to be able to not upload this file to the internet. So remember this git ignore file that we created at the beginning of the project in the first video. Basically, this is a list of files where you don't get uploaded to GitHub. And so we can actually add this, to the top, and I'm going to say secrets.json. You can add it as any line anywhere in the file. And basically this means that secrets.json won't get uploaded. So if we go to GitHub desktop, we'll see that getignore got updated, but there's no secrets.json as an updated because we're actually ignoring it. Okay. And so now you're probably wondering, how do we, open this JSON file in our program? And so we're actually going to add another library called JSON, and we're going to say import JSON. And in order to load the file, we have to do json.load, and then the location of the file, which, the file name is secrets.json. So we'll just put secrets.json. And we need to assign this to a variable so we can access it as a dictionary, which we'll talk about in the next video, how to access. Actually, we'll talk about in this video since we have time. But we'll say secrets is equal to secrets.json. And the way you access a key is you say secrets, and then brackets, and then username would give me the key or the value inside username, and then secrets password would give me the key inside password. And so we no longer have to use username and password. We can just use these two instead. And so I can just do a quick find and replace of username, and then secrets username, and replace all. And then I can do password, and then secrets password, and replace all as well. And so now we don't have any usernames or passwords in this file. And so that's going to be it for this video. In the next video, we're going to be talking about how you can actually change your email content and maybe email multiple people at once.